Hi, my name is Megan Basso, and for homework 3, I will be doing Chapter 13, Question 3, Explain the difference between celiac disease and an actual gluten allergy. So the main difference between celiac disease and a wheat allergy is that celiac disease is not an allergic reaction. There is no IgE-mediated response. Instead, it is an autoimmune disorder, and it's diagnosed by blood tests and endoscopic tests. This little graphic to the left is from the National Celiac Association and sums up the difference between celiac disease and wheat allergy and says basically what I just said. The cause of celiac disease is that T cells attack the lining of the small intestine within 2 to 3 days of consuming gluten. This results in an extreme inflammation and tissue damage reaction, interfering with the ability to absorb vitamins and minerals from food. This little graphic to the right shows the difference between someone without celiac disease and someone with celiac disease and how their small intestine is affected. This table is from the University of Chile Department of Pediatrics, and it shows a comparison between celiac disease, a wheat allergy, and non-celiac gluten sensitivity. I've highlighted some of the things that I thought were most interesting. Like I said before, celiac disease is an autoimmune disorder and involves IgA and IgG antibodies, versus a wheat allergy is a type 1 and 4 hypersensitivity reaction and involves wheat-specific IgE. Non-celiac gluten sensitivity has become a very well-known disorder. It's an innate immune response and involves IgA and IgG also, but the difference is it's not celiac disease, even though it also involves IgA and IgG. Complications without treatment for celiac and wheat allergies include, for celiac disease, autoimmune symptoms, nutritional deficits, and intestinal malignancies, and a wheat allergy involves anaphylactic reactions. An article I found that was really interesting and something I've heard of recently and been curious about are food sensitivity tests. There are many food sensitivity tests out on the market that claim to detect food sensitivities and intolerances, and these look for IgG antibodies. Many physicians are critical of these tests because IgG stems from the body's normal immune response to exposure to many substances, including food. High levels don't necessarily indicate a problem, they just simply point to foods a person has recently eaten. The American Academy of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology has recommended against these tests for food intolerance evaluation because positive test results can be expected to be normal. And if you get a positive test, it's likely a false diagnosis for a sensitivity test. These tests are not endorsed by the FDA, so they are not recommended. Instead, doctors recommend elimination diets to see if there's sensitivity to a certain food, like gluten and dairy. Now, obviously, if you have an allergy, that will be diagnosed from allergy tests, or if you're suspected to have celiac disease, that would be diagnosed through blood tests and endoscopic tests, like we discussed before. But just because you think that you're sensitive due to a test that is not regulated by the FDA doesn't mean that that's necessarily true. And I think this is really important for people to understand. And here are all my sources.